Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of the Geek Out Show. I'm your host, Gil, and I'm here with a special co-host today. We got Michael, aka Black Gay Comic Geek. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I'm so happy to finally have you on. Like, I've been talking about wanting to have you on for like a while now, and I know that you live an opposite life of me, to where like you work at nights, I work days, a bunch of different stuff, and then we've all had to deal with shit with the pandemic going on. And
you're on a different time zone, so that also makes it harder.
You're in New York, I'm in Cali, so yeah, just
well, Jersey, but pretty much the same.
Oh,
thing.
Jersey, my bad. I thought you guys were in New York. My bad.
Yeah, I mean it's virtually the same, but not really. But yeah.
So I've been listening and watching your content for a while now. Like I'm hoping that people that are listening and watching this know and follow you. If you're not, definitely go check them out. You can follow them everywhere at Black Gay Comic Geek, correct, at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook,
everything,
all
YouTube.
social media channels, Black Gay Comic Geek.
Yeah, so check him out. He's also on the Blerdvision podcast. That's where actually I first heard about you, was on that podcast, and then I started following your your personal content that you were coming out with, because you guys kind of took some time off with the pandemic and everything. It makes sense why people would take time off and not being around people that are in their households. So
yeah,
but man, content.
Like, you can't come over here.
no, hey, I feel the same way, man. Because I think it was like close to 8 months before I seen my brothers. Like I would talk to them, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, we don't live in the same house, and
the only people I would interact with is my mother and brother. Because I have my own apartment, but my mother and brother are literally right upstairs from me. Because I live in a three-family house. We all rent it. And so the people that I used to live upstairs with my mother in a three, it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then people that live down here, they moved out almost 2 years ago. November will be 2 years since I've been here. So they moved out. The landlord was like, "Hey, I'll give it to you if you want it." I was like, "You ain't got to say another word." So
yeah,
so I could literally walk upstairs to see my mother and brother. So they were the only two that I interacted with. But it turns out everybody else, my friends are like, "Oh, I miss you." I'm like, "Yeah, I do too, but you can't come over here."
miss you from afar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the geeky background check. It's something that I submit everybody to. It's a gauntlet of questions. Not really. It's not that serious. I like to hype it up. It's not that serious though. So we started off with just wanting to know how you started off being like in the geeky culture, or what caught your eye. How'd you get into it? Is it something that you were introduced at a young age, or is it like something kind of new to you?
Funny enough, my brother likes to try to take credit for my nerd journey, and I'm like, you had nothing to do with it. But like, my journey into geekdom really started from horror movies. Like, nice. When I was a weird kid. Like I wanted Chucky dolls and all this other stuff. My mother wasn't.
Oh, hell no.
Well, yeah, horror movies never scared me. So I like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Friday the 13th, Halloween. Interview with the Vampire was like my favorite movie growing up.
Oh my god, my mom had that on replay.
Came out in 1994, and it was like very gay, and I even realized that as a kid. So it was gay without being gay. So, and like my first supernatural love was like vampires. So anything vampire related, I would fall into it. That's the main reason why I got into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Starting with the 1992 television show, which was trash by comparison. When I was a kid, I loved that show, but then not the show. Sorry. When I was a kid, I loved the movie with Christy Swanson.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But then I saw the show, and I was like, this movie is trash. And plus, that was 1992. 1992, I was 7, so I didn't know any. I didn't know any better in terms of like quality of movies and things like that. But like horror is what got me. Then eventually, you got Power Rangers, which came out in the 90s. You had the Spider-Man cartoon show, the X-Men cartoon show, from Saturday morning animated series. Like all the Marvel cartoon shows came on at that time, Saturday morning, and so that's what kind of basically started my journey. Like I was watching the shows and the movies and the cartoon shows, because I didn't really start reading comics until like early mid 2000s. But I was always into like the characters and the superheroes and everything like that. And it really started from horror movies.
That's awesome. So you kind of touch bases on what the next thing would be comics. What's your earliest memory with comics? And like, do you remember like the first comic book that you ever like had in your hands and like how you felt about it?
I don't remember the first comic book I ever had
Oh,
in my
okay,
hand,
gotcha.
but I do remember like what made me like really start going to the comic book store regularly. And funny enough, it was when after Buffy the Vampire Slayer went off the air, and then they announced that they were continuing the story in canon in comic book form. And so
So they got you hook, line, and sinker.
yeah,
They're like,
and
bring your ass over here.
I'm a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. So I was like, oh wait, they're continuing the story. I need to read it. And I was in college at the time, and so it was also the first time I had like actual tangible access to a comic book store, because there are no comic book stores in the area that I grew up. Like if I wanted to go to a comic book store, I got to go way out. Like I can get to one now, I can just drive to one, but it's not like in my area, in my general vicinity that I could just walk to. And so, but when I was in college, I went to Florida A&M University, HBCU, shout out Rattlers. But there was a comic book store right near my campus. It was walking distance. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I would always go there and pick up the Buffy comics just to read them and pick them up. And then eventually I was like, might as well just start getting, like, I was always into Marvel and DC, but I never actually read it. And I was like, oh, you know what? While I'm here, I might as well get some other stuff too. So
nice.
It's really Buffy that started the journey of me actually jumping into reading comics.
Yes, that's cool. That's cool. One thing I do gotta say, like, I love blood, sex, gore, and magic.
Funny enough, I thought about putting that shirt on, but I was like, you know what? No, let me put on "Welcome to My Safety." I can go change. I can go change if you want. It's right there.
No, it's all good. But hey, I gotta say, like, I really do like love that saying, because like really like that does make like everything better. Like if it does have those 4 components.
Yeah. I had some people questioning it because they're like, why does it have to have gore? Like obviously if it has blood, it has gore, right? I'm like, no. Yeah. You can have blood.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you can have blood and not have the gore.
Yes.
Like I want to see like the brain, like even in video games, like characters that get their head chopped off, but it's like you don't see anything, like you don't see the brain stem, the guts, and they're like, no, like I want all of it. Like
yeah, you want the details.
I want full on Mortal Kombat, like
gore porn type shit. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
obviously to a certain extent, because I feel like the movie Hostel was like, I was like, all right, this is just like there's no point.
What was it? The Evil Dead remake? That was like lightweight intense. Cause like, did you watch that one?
I didn't see it.
Oh, I would say check it out. I think you might like it. Just because like there's a lot of gore. There's a lot. Yeah, like some shit made me like squirm a little bit, scream. But like I usually don't. But like that, I was just like, God damn! Like it was a little over the top. I think you would like it. Yeah. So let me know if you ever check that one out.
And funny enough, they said the Green Knight. Like I saw an article that was like, "Oh, the Green Knight is all blood, sex, and magic," and I was like, "I feel like this is
straight to me."
Yeah, I was like, should I sue? Did they take that from me?
Stealing your shit.
Yeah, somebody else hit me up. Was like, "Oh, they took your thing." That's the way I found out about it. Somebody sent me a message. I was like, "Oh, it's just missing.
It's really good.
It's just missing the gore." See, because it had the, it was like, oh, it's all blood, sex, and magic. I want to see it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Oh man, then I don't know.
I understand. I understand why people like. I feel like more if you're more of a cinephile, like and granted, that's not to say I'm not into that stuff, but it was like visually, it was stunning. The cinematography, the score, the acting, all of that was great. But for me, I felt like the story was like, I was like, I don't know. I felt like this is lacking, but a lot of people loved it, and I understand why a lot of people love it, but for me, yeah, it just wasn't.
All right. Well, I'll check it out. I'll form my own opinion. I'll check it out. So collectibles, I definitely do see all those figures back there, and I know that I've written into you guys about that before. Right, I love when you show off your collection. You could only see like a small little part of my stuff behind me. Like I have Boba Fett, Mandalorian, some pins and stuff like that. But if I was to turn it around, you see all my figures too. Collectibles. What's like your earliest memory about memorable about collectibles, and like, do you remember maybe like your first one or fondest memory?
I mean, granted, I don't play with them anymore, but I've always like played with toys and
Yeah.
enjoyed action figures more specifically. So yeah, but it wasn't until the last couple of years that I started like buying them to like put on like display and things like that. I mean, really, since I started, because my first full-time job was when I was 25. I worked at I was a flight attendant. That was my first time working and that was in 2020. That was in 2011 when I got my first full-time job. So really, that's when I started buying figures to put, because I'm like, I got money now. So
yeah.
So 2000. So maybe 2012 is when I started the journey of actually buying, and then it just slowly started growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. Oh, why is my light not on down here? There we go. Oh, the battery must be dead. But yeah, growing and growing and growing. So this is my X-Men shelf. Camera's not getting blurred. X-Men shelf, Avengers shelf. I call it the Asgardians of the Galaxy because I got Thor characters, Guardians of the Galaxy characters, Doctor Strange, and all that other stuff. This is my Star Wars shelf down here. This is the Spider-Man shelf. I don't know where to point. There we go. Spider-Man shelf.
Yeah.
This is my Wakanda shelf, Black Panther characters.
Oh yeah.
This is the DC shelf. And this is because I'm like not looking, I don't know where to point. This shelf right here is the Young Avengers. So I got like like Young Avengers characters and champions.
I would love if they kind of like update a couple of those figures, like, because like some of them are kind of like they were made like close to 10 years ago.
And that over here, exactly. That over here is Fantastic Four.
Nice, the first family. Here.
Yeah, let me turn these lights on. I'm like, the battery's already dying.
That's awesome. I really do love your collection that you got there, and that's one thing that always caught my interest whenever you do videos and things like that inside your room. It's like, oh shit, yeah, he collects a lot.
So I mean, there's more stuff that I want. Like I pre-ordered the Galactus, which my wallet.
Oh yeah.
My wallet is gonna kill me because that was like $400, and I'm like, no, I want it, but I don't want it, but I want it.
I think it's like what you call it, at the end of the month, right? They're like time to pay up.
Yeah,
something like that. So
yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah,
I think it's like 12 more days or something like that. But yeah, that's awesome. I just can't do it. It's way too fucking big, man. It's like almost the size of my fucking daughter. So I'm like, I can't have that in my collection. Like I just don't have the room for it. I'm sure that if I had a bigger room or something like that, or if I moved some shit or sold some shit, I probably could make some room for it.
But why isn't it only 32 inches?
Yeah, that's big. It's almost 3 foot tall.
I mean, it's Galactus.
it is, but I'm like, do I really need it? I'm trying to talk myself out of it. Don't try to talk me into it.
Put it right on top of my shelf.
I'm trying to talk myself out of it. Like, no, you don't need it. Don't get it. Don't don't do it. So that's what I'm trying to stay at.
It's the Devourer of Planets. You got to have it. And then when are you gonna get it again? If you decide you want it, it's gonna be like
probably more like
way more than
$800
or even more.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself out of it.
I'm a bad influence.
Yeah, I can tell. All right, so anime. What's the earliest anime? Or what was your first anime? And what's like your first memories of anime? My cat keeps on trying to get on me. I'm sorry.
Anime earliest because right before I went to school, super early in the morning, Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon would be playing at like 6-ish.
Yes. Yep.
In the morning. So that's what
while
I would
you're
watch.
Getting ready. While you're getting ready.
While I'm getting ready for school, I will watch Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, and then Beast Wars will come on.
Fuck yeah, yep.
Yeah. So those will be the three that I will watch. So that was really my introduction into anime. And honestly, that's all I will watch. That's all I watch. Mostly Dragon Ball Z. Like I have on my shelf, like you see.
Yep.
Dragon Ball right over there, and then all the Dragon Ball Z, and then GT, which GT is trash, but I still got it just to complete the collection.
It's really not that good. I just like the transformations. I like Super Saiyan 4. It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I think that like it looks awesome, but yeah, the story wasn't
No,
wasn't the best.
so that was like my obsession. Like I was like Dragon Ball Z is the greatest thing ever.
And
And
that's
then
the best. That's like top tier.
yeah, but I never watched any other anime other than those two, and even Sailor Moon. Like I didn't even finish Sailor Moon. It was mostly just Dragon Ball Z. And then once I got on Blerdvision and they added the anime section with Jamie when she was still on the podcast before she moved back to Korea, they were talking about stuff and I would just be sitting there silent because I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Like, let me what? Because they were mostly talking about My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah.
So then, like in the middle of season 2, I just went and binged it to catch up. So I was like, I'm on this podcast and I'm just sitting here silent because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I might as well just catch up. So I started watching My Hero Academia and I loved it.
The same thing happened to me. We had a co-host that introduced me into My Hero. Like I thought I was always into anime until like I actually got my eyes opened and like looked at other animes other than DBZ, like same as you. And then I was like, holy shit, there's so much more stuff out there, like other things out there that are so much better.
So I started watching My Hero Academia, and then Jamie would talk about other stuff because, you know, every week it was something different. So then I started watching it for the show, and I was like, all this shit is good. So then I started going back and watching like Death Note and all these other shows.
Oh.
And now it made me go like, wow, Dragon Ball Z isn't that good. When Dragon Ball Super first came out, that was before I started watching. Like when it first came out, that was in the beginning, like before I stared watching My Hero and all these other shows. And I was like, oh, this is hype. Like, this is great. And then I started watching all these other anime. And I'm like, yeah, Dragon Ball, it's the same shit. Like, a new threat, Goku has to get stronger. A new threat, Goku has to get stronger. Like, but yet there's no character development for Goku. Goku's the same. He's like even Vegeta has more character development than Goku does.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
At a certain point, I'm like, but Goku is just not an interesting protagonist.
He's not.
I know,
he's really fucking not.
I'm probably triggering some people like, you don't know what you're talking about, but no, he's not.
No, like you're talking to friends right here because we talk about the same shit. 100%. I agree with you.
I started watching other anime. I'm just like, yeah, like right now I'm watching 2 Year Eternity. I'm like, this is pretty damn good.
I haven't started that one, and because of you guys talking about it, I want to start it. I just why did I start watching? I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm on season 3. It's really good. The first half of season 1 is kind of rough. It's kind of like a more of a period piece. Mm-hmm. It's so, but then after that, like I feel like everything is just a lot better after that.
Yeah, and even something like a Food Wars, an anime about cooking. I was like, who the fuck wants to watch? Who wants to watch this track? Like, I don't even cook. I can't even boil water. So why would I want to watch an anime about fucking? And I was like, yo, this is fucking dope.
Hey, I bet you wanted to start cooking after that.
I didn't, but
oh, you didn't? Oh shit! No. I was hoping like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
No.
Let's go.
I still like even like I said, I woke up at 6 o'clock and I'm like, obviously after this is over, but I'm like, I'm about to Uber Eats something. That's
a little funny. So video games. What about video games? What's like your first system that you remember and like do you still game?
Nintendo.
Nintendo's the first one. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Playing the original Mario Brothers.
All right, yeah, that's a lot of people's first right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I still play. I still not as much. Not since I started going back to because I got laid off from my job for like the last 8 months because of COVID. Because of COVID, and so I was playing video game yada yada. So I actually only just been back the end of this month. May, June, July, August. So yeah, the end of this month will make 3 months. And since I returned back to my job, I haven't played because I got the Mass Effect Legendary, and I was playing that because I never played Part 1 because Part 1 came out for Xbox. And I only have PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I never played. So I played Part 2 and 3 because those came out for PlayStation. So I went back and got the Mass Effect Legendary so I can go back and play Part 1. And since returning back to my job, I haven't touched it. But in terms of what I'm currently, I use in air quotes because I haven't touched it in 3 months. What I'm currently playing is Mass Effect. So yeah, I still game, and I want to get a PS5 eventually. I'm not in a rush to get one. So I'm not.
It's
I'm
also
not.
hella
I'm
hard
not
to
so
get
much.
one.
I'm not so much of a. Well, some people like they're willing to pay the scalpers, and I'm
Nope,
like,
fuck that.
I
Nope,
feel like that's stupid. Like that's the way. Like you're paying
it's fucking dumb.
$1,000 more when it's like you could just wait for it. Like
Yeah, I won't.
especially considering right now there's not really anything out. Like I could see if there was a
There's
bunch
not
of games.
shit for PS5.
Yeah, I was like, I could see if there was a bunch of games out that just like I need to play now. There ain't shit out right now. So I was like, unless there's a minimum 5 games that I want to play, like 5 AAA type of games that I need to play, I don't need a PlayStation right now. Plus, I don't have a 4K TV, so I'm like, whatever. Like I want to put a TV on this wall.
Oh, that would be dope.
I mean, but which I don't, I don't have it right now. So, and then, like I said, ain't shit out right now. Most of the games come out next year.
Yeah, and like all the titles that are coming out next year are also being released for PS4 as well. So it's like, if you really want them, you could just play them on your fucking PS4. You don't need the PS5 to play them.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of just PS5 exclusives that are really worth playing, really at all.
Right now, it's just Ratchet and Clank. That's what I want to play, but it's only PS5.
I want to play that too, but it's like, do I need to?
But I'm like,
I can
wait on that. I can wait on that.
Yeah, definitely. So, what about TVs and movies? What's doesn't have to be necessarily geek related. I mean, you kind of talked about the horror. The horror is what got you in there, but what else is there?
I mean, I watch all genres, but like you brought up in the beginning, the things I'm most attracted to has blood, sex, gore, and magic.
So anything with that.
Yeah, anything with that. That doesn't mean I'm gonna like it, but that means I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. That at least gets your interest and get your enough interest of watching it.
And when I say magic, like I consider superheroes to be magic. Like Spider-Man, it's not real, so that's fucking magic. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And that's part of the reason why I'm more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan, because I'm like, Star Wars, you got Jedi, those are like space wizards, basically.
100% they fucking are. 100% they are.
So
Star Trek, I never really was able to get into it until they did the most recent films. Those ones were okay.
Yeah, the only one I saw was the first one with Chris Pine. I didn't see the other ones.
That was the only one that I seen too.
That was like my only introduction into Star Trek.
Star Wars though, every single film I've watched multiple times.
People watching is probably like, oh, you don't like Star Trek. I'm clicking off this.
Nah, we don't. I don't. Dude, we heard.
What is it? I can't do it. Live
long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Yeah, I can't do. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about Star Trek really. We're mainly like, if we out of the two, is Star Wars. We always report on Star Wars news because I feel like there's always some type of news about them, whether it's action figures, video games, whatever the case may be. So, yeah. So thank you. You definitely do pass for the whole entire geeky background check. I would definitely say you have a geek card, definitely. So.
Well, I'm glad I can keep my membership.
Right. And I joke around with people, but I actually want to make some membership cards for the Geek Out Show that say like you passed your background check. I want to get them stamped that says like approved or something like that. So I'm gonna get those made, and when I do, I'll definitely send you one. So you'll get the Geek Out Show background check.
All right, like so, like an Avengers card.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them laminated so it's official.
All right.
It's gonna be Geek Out Show, the geeky background check card.
I'm like, does this come with a stipend like being on the Avengers?
Definitely got you. So now that you did pass, I just wanted to talk to you. Maybe see what else you wanted to talk about. You could go ahead and talk about your TikToks and what you do on your channel.
I'd say we could talk about whatever you want. Like,
well, no, I want you to definitely be able to talk about yourself and let people know where they could, what you do about the podcast, a little bit more about the podcast, and then a little bit more about, because I know that you do a lot of stuff on YouTube, and then with also more content creators as well. So if you want to go ahead and talk about that.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Michael, Black Gay Comic Geek. I'm black, I'm gay, and I like comics. But yeah, like my journey on the internet as a content creator or whatever you want to call it, like internet personality or whatever, I'm just a guy that likes other guys in comics. But like my journey it really started with the Blerdvision podcast, like the Blerdvision on Instagram. He had a podcast, he ran it, and then one day his main co-host couldn't be on because they were on vacation or whatever. They went to London, and I asked him out because I knew Jordan previous. I was like, hey, you want to go to the movies? I want to see John Wick 2. And he was like, sure. So we went to the movies to see John Wick 2. And then he was like, I kind of want to talk about this on the show. And I was a fan of his show before that. So I would listen. And he was like, do you want to be on the show to talk about John Wick? I was like, sure. Like, and I've never done or even thought about doing anything like this before. So I was like, okay. Like I've never like publicly given my opinion or analyzed the movie or anything like that. That was my first time. You can go back and listen to the episode. It's on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, all that stuff. The Blerdvision. I was episode 25. I think this was 20. I think this was 2015. Hold on, let me look it up. I think it was 2015. My first foray into the internet space, and back then I wasn't Black Gay Comic Geek on the internet. My name on Instagram, because I had like just joined Instagram not that long before then. Because funny enough, I joined Instagram like maybe 2 months before I started cosplaying for the first time. I believe that was in 2015. I'm like, why can't I find the freaking podcast app on my phone?
And you've done some amazing cosplays, I got to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm retired now. People are like, oh, what's the next cosplay? I'm like, Michael Simeon.
There you go.
That's the cosplay. Because
going as myself, damn it.
Yeah, I'm going as myself. Maybe I'll wear a hat or whatever.
There you go. Ooh. Gonna do the Avengers.
Like
a hat and glasses.
Yeah, maybe I'll wear like a Pikachu hat or something.
There you go.
Well, hold on. Let me see. Episode 25 it aired on. Hold on. I got it right here. There we go. February 2017. So it was even later. I said 2015. So yeah, February 20th, 2017 was when but I started cosplaying in 2015. So 2 years later, that's when I joined that foray into
2017. I started listening to you guys a little bit after that then.
So yeah, episode 25 was my first episode. And even sometimes I'll go back and listen to it. I'm like, yeah, I sound super nervous. But so yeah, back then I was still Nephilim _rising 2010 on Instagram. And so that was my first episode. I wasn't on episode 26. And also back then Jordan didn't record consistently. It would be like once a month.
It was real spotty.
Yeah, it was very spotty. But then eventually he wanted to do it more. He had issues with co-hosts not being able to do it, yada yada yada. So then eventually he was like, "Do you want to make this a regular thing? You want to join me as a host, like a permanent host?" I was like, sure, I guess. So I came back for episode 27, and then it just became a thing. The next episode I came back on, I think it was Beauty and the Beast. We talked about Beauty and the Beast and Power Rangers, the 2017 Power Rangers. And then it became a thing. And then eventually he had another friend of his, Jamie, on the podcast, and it was the three of us. And I thought we had great chemistry together. Like, you go back and listen to those
you guys most definitely did.
Yeah, you go back and listen to those episodes with the three of us, like it's like gold. But then eventually Jamie ended up moving back to South Korea. And so then it's just Jordan and I. And then we stopped recording last year, 2017, because of COVID. It was like basically we had a baby. We stopped for like 9 months. And then in between that time, eventually, while I was doing it, I was like, I started to love doing this thing. And I was like, I feel like I want to do more of this. And so that's when eventually I started making my own. I branched off and created my own YouTube channel because I was like, there's stuff that we don't talk about on Blerdvision that I want to talk about, even when it comes to like queer representation and like things like that, and things that I see and notice and everything like that, or movies and shows or video games that I watch or into, like I talked about Kingdom Hearts and things, because Jordan doesn't really play. He says he games, but he doesn't even have a PS4. He doesn't even have a PS4. So yeah, there's things I wanted to talk about. I was like, so that's why I started creating my own, branched off and made my own YouTube channel. And then eventually, because of the pandemic, I'm sitting at home alone. I made a TikTok, so I started talking about that. And while I was on Blerdvision, that's when I eventually changed my name to Black Gay Comic Geek. Funny enough, modeled after another guy that I know named Paul. His name is Gay Comic Geek. And I actually hit him up one day. I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I actually make my name Black Gay Comic Geek?" And he was like, no, sure, go ahead. So eventually that was born.
That's awesome. And like while you guys took the time away from the pandemic recording the podcast, I kept on following you because you kept on talking about content. I mean, you kept on putting out content, but it was content that I was also interested in, whether it be video games. Like I remember when you were talking about the Final Fantasy VII remake and everything like that, and I was like, oh yeah, like I definitely need that game. And then all the different shows and movies that you were talking about and reviewing and stuff like that. That's why I kept up with your content, and that's what I'm saying, guys. Definitely follow, Black Geek Comic Geek, all social media, especially YouTube, because there's some good reviews that you have out there, and you get screeners and all kinds of stuff. So you get you do the non-spoilers.
Now I'm starting to get to that point.
Hey, I gotta say congrats.
That I'm able to get screeners.
Congrats.
Like
I gotta say congrats for that.
Yeah, so I guess that means some progress is happening. People are starting to notice me, and
awesome.
And of course I get haters because it's not like in the grand scheme of like YouTube and things like that, I'm like nothing. I'm nobody. I'm almost at 4,500 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every single person. Like somebody wants to hit, like even when you hit me up, that like wanted to interview me, I'm like I appreciate anybody that wants to talk to anybody that wants to talk to me. I'm willing to talk to them because I'm like. And I'm also surprised because I'm like, who the fuck am I? Like, I'm nobody. Like, why did
you definitely?
I'm like, why does somebody want to talk to me? So the fact that anybody is willing to subscribe to my YouTube channel, they're interested in my thoughts. They'll hit me up and be like, hey, did you see this news? What's your opinion about it? Yada yada. Like that makes me feel good. Like, and so just the fact that, and like I was saying, in the grand scheme of YouTube, I have. So I say all that to say I appreciate every single follower I have, but in terms of like YouTube, I'm almost at 4,500 subscribers, but that's nothing. That's like the minuscule, like that's irrelevant in the space of like the bigger YouTubers that do what I do, that have not even just millions, but like hundreds of thousands, 200,000 or whatever, 500,000, even 10,000. So me and my little almost 4,500 subscribers, and the fact that even with that, I'm still able to get like Disney screeners, get invited to see Free Guy, get invited to see the Suicide Squad. I was able to see He-Man a month early. Sex Education doesn't come out till next month, and I got a screener for that on my YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, on my I can watch it right now on Netflix, et cetera, et cetera. Like, yeah, the fact that I'm getting these screeners, like I'm going to one next week I'm going to see Shang-Chi next week. So it's like,
ooh, I can't wait for the the spoiler-free review for that one.
So yeah, the fact that I'm able to get these screeners, like, yes, it's making me, it's showing me that, yeah, like some progress is happening. Cause sometimes I can kind of get a little discouraged because, part of me is I'm like, dang, I'm still working this full-time job. Like, I'm tired of working. And then also part of it, and that also part of it is like, because I work overnight, which is like, so like, what's the word I'm trying to use? It's not antithetical. That's not the right word, but it's not normal to like how your natural body chemistry, like your body wants to be awake during the day when the sun is up. And then, people, I've read studies of like working overnight long-term, especially as you get older, it can cause heart issues, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like naturally, like your body's not supposed to be up during those hours. And because I work overnight, it doesn't matter how much sleep I get, I'll be tired. So,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
There are times that I'm like, I got to review stuff, like something comes out and I'm like, I don't feel like it. Like, I'm tired. Like, or moments I'll go live talking about WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. And it's like, I'll be tired. Like I'll go live and then I got to go right to work that next, like right after we're done. And like, I'll end up having to there's moments I'm like sacrificing sleep just to be able to put a video out. And I mean, I do it for the sake of love. I'm not getting paid for it or anything like that. I'm doing it because I love it. But sometimes that kind of gets a little discouraged because I'm like, dang, like I put in all this effort. And I'm like, but I still got to go work this full-time job. But at the same time, I still love it. So it kind of gets under my skin when I get comments from people that like every so often on YouTube, they're like, why are you able to get screeners or whatever? You're like, no, you're nobody or whatever. And I get comments like that every so often. And I'm like,
fuck them.
The audacity, like, especially when I'm like, I'm doing this shit for free. I'm doing this because I'm enjoying it. Like, so I'm like, the audacity of people like saying some shit like that. Like, yeah.
They just some punks, man. But I mean, you're proof that hard work, dedication pays off. Just keep on with it, and I'm hoping you the best, and hopefully, you could quit your daytime job and be a permanent content creator. And then I can't even imagine the type of content you would put out, like if you're getting paid for everything, and you could quit your daytime job and just do this full time. That'd be amazing.
I hope so. Then I'll also give me
Fingers
more
crossed.
time to, because I keep saying I'll do it, but then I don't. But I'm like, I want to put out a fantasy. I want to put out a fantasy novel. People are like,
I've heard you bring that up before.
People are like, oh, you don't want to write a comic? I'm like, no. I feel like I'm way too wordy for a comic book.
It'd be better with the novel.
Yeah, I'd rather do a novel. Well, yeah. So I feel like I would, especially working over. And granted, obviously, this is me making excuses, but I'm like, I feel like I would have more time if I didn't have to. If I had more, I would have more time if I had more time.
Okay, sorry about that. So if you want to go ahead and plug yourself and let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Yeah, guys. Black Gay Comic Geek on all social media channels: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm not so active on Twitter, but every so often I'll tweet something. But it's mostly YouTube and TikTok, and then I'll just transfer most of my TikTok videos to Instagram. Especially considering every so often on TikTok I get shadow banned or they'll block. Excuse me. If I post a most benign picture of fan art of two men kissing, TikTok will ban it for graphic and adult nudity, even though they're fully fucking clothed.
Hey, but there's half naked women on there, and it's perfectly fine.
Not even just half naked. I could find
or damn near fully naked.
I could show you TikTok videos where you can see guys' entire granted they're wearing clothes, but you can see their entire dick print in their shorts. And it's not like it's on accident. They're doing it on they're doing it on purpose. Where you can see their dick print, their whole dick outline, erect, hard. And those videos are up. But yeah, my fully clothed two men kissing is banned for nudity.
So other social media platforms are better.
I was gonna say I went live one time on TikTok. And somebody asked me my opinion on Tim Drake Iceman. And I was talking about Iceman and queer representation. And TikTok banned my live, not banned, but suspended my live for violating community guidelines. And they wouldn't tell me what community guidelines I violated. And I tried to appeal it. And they're like, oh, based on the video, we still saw that you violated community. So you're still suspended temporarily. And I'm like, what the fuck did I violate? I was fully clothed. I was talking about queer representation. But yeah, TikTok is trash. So for that reason, I transfer a lot of my stuff from TikTok to Instagram.
So other platforms are better.
Yeah. Granted, they all have their issues, but I feel like TikTok is the most blatant when it comes to silencing Black and queer creators.
All right. And you can follow me over at Black Hole Comics, all social media. Make sure to follow us over at the Geek Out Show. That's on Instagram, all social media platforms, honestly. YouTube, all that good stuff. Subscribe to both of our channels, please. And hopefully we can have a part 2 where I have more time. So that was my bad on this time.
No, that's fine.
Alrighty. I'm gonna end it.
Yo.